Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah, and welcome back to the 350 Bird Challenge.
We just couldn't get enough of our capital city, Ottawa. We've come back for a second look around, going to see if we can find some new birds this time. We're going to start off after the intro with another look at a great grey owl. We're here with a couple of friends, and for Spring, it would be her first ever great grey owl. Let's see if we can get her a lifer. Back after this. We kitted ourselves up in winter gear, and then we armed our cameras, before entering some woods where Sarah and I had seen a great grey owl earlier this year. We had hopes that Jason would see it for a first of the year, and that Spring would see it because it would be a lifer for her. After looking for a short time, we soon spotted it. Now, this isn't a new bird for us, but it's also definitely not a bird that we're ever going to get tired of seeing. The owl was snoozing, so as always, we didn't stick around too long. After less than about 10 minutes, we left the owl in peace. Okay guys, we've got the great grey owl. We've seen those a couple of times already, but it's always a pleasure to see one of those. And for Spring, it was a lifer. High five for Spring. I think our plan is to move on next and look for a varied thrush. That would be a lifer for me and Sarah too. Okay Canadians, bear with me. For our non-native viewers, in this episode we have travelled from the Greater Toronto area about 4 hours northeast to Ottawa. Our next stop is for a varied thrush that has been reported near the neighbourhood of Dunrobin. For this trip, we've carpooled with Jason and Spring, right Sarah? We schlepped our way across Ottawa in the still snowy conditions of early March. After rescuing another birder's car from the ditch for good karma, we staked out the spot. Okay Sarah, where have we come to?
We are at Stonecrest Road in Dunrobin.
There have been reports of a varied thrush, as mentioned. That's going to be a lifer for us. It's really poor conditions, snowing, billowing snow, heavy wind. We're hopeful that it will come out. We had a quick scope around the area, and we see a small wooden platform that people have put on the side of the road that has some berries on it. So we're thinking that's where it probably heads to. From the warmth of the car, we waited, concerned that the varied thrush might not show up for us in these bleak conditions. We waited for about 45 minutes, perhaps getting a little bit stir-crazy, but then we saw something. Excuse my excitement. That's it. We didn't have the best views to begin with, as it's staged in a tree.
It's in the back, in the lower level.
Facing left?
So like 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground.
Above the fence-ish?
But
it did eventually drop down beside the small wooden feeding station, set up with a supply of blueberries. Okay guys, I feel a bit of kinship with that bird. The varied thrush has found itself in a different place from where it should be. The Pacific Northwest is where that's normally found at home, but it's swapped that for this terrible weather in freezing Ontario. Varied thrush, that's a lifer for us. New bird for the challenge. Hooray!
Yay.
What did you think of that bird, Sarah? It's quite nice looking, wasn't it?
It is quite nice looking. Jokingly we've been referring to it as a fancy robin, but it is actually quite a bit prettier than that.
Yeah, quite a nice thrush. We have the North American robin as a type of thrush, eastern bluebird. Those are both pretty looking birds, but they're fairly common. And then the rest of our normal thrushes, Swainson's, grey-cheeked and hermit, they're all a bit brown. So that one was kind of cool, nice orange plumage. We'd also joked that this bird had some superficial similarities to a meadowlark, and that perhaps it was the love child of an American robin and a meadowlark. What did you think of the thrush, Jason?
Well, it was a good one to get. Luckily, it came out because it's a snowstorm and we've been sitting here for a while wondering if it was ever going to come out. But it finally did, so I think we were pretty lucky.
Lunchtime?
Yeah.
After lunch, we followed reports of a red-headed woodpecker around Torbolton Forest. That would be a good find, but after much searching and realising it was a fairly vast area, we decided to move on. So, back on the road again, but we hit upon a bit of a snag. We came to Fletcher Wildlife Garden, but it had been so cold that my camera batteries drained, and I basically couldn't film for the rest of the day, but we didn't see much anyway. So we'll just have to pick this video up again after a good night's sleep. Good morning everyone, it's the following day. Yesterday started off so well, but as I would have mentioned, turned into a bit of a disaster in as much as we didn't see anything else of note, and the batteries on my cameras all died, so we had to cut short the filming yesterday. So today it is -30 with the wind chill. I didn't dress appropriately. I fell for Canada's, or especially Ontario's, false spring narrative and thought it was just going to get gradually warmer through the season, but actually the temperature has really dropped and it's bitterly cold. We've come back to Fletcher, what's it called, Sarah?
Fletcher Wildlife Garden.
Fletcher Wildlife Garden. I wouldn't normally mention it, but I don't think we're going to see it. We came here for a boreal owl. That would be a magnificent bird to see, possibly one of the best birds we would ever see. It would be a lifer as well. We're going to take a quick look for it, but don't hold out too much hope. So we do have other plans after this to try and find maybe evening grosbeak. We've already seen it, but we'd like to see snowy owl because Spring hasn't seen one. A couple of other targets too. Can you remember what the other one is, Sarah?
Bohemian waxwing if we can, and maybe a Wilson snipe, but we might give that one a miss.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll see what we can pick up here. We searched around for the boreal owl, but we didn't find it, which might not surprise regular viewers because when we find sensitive birds, we don't release the location. We're fairly certain that this bird has moved on. Most of the birds we did see, including house finches, were in and around the selection of feeders. This nuthatch was making use of the peanut feeder. And here's a rather resplendent northern cardinal. Actually, there were several around, and check this out. That's the first cardinal song that we've heard so far this year. Warmer weather is just around the corner, and then migration will follow. Here's a dark-eyed junco. Take a good look at it. They're not going to be around much longer. Yep, these crazy birds like the cold, and so they're going to head north soon. Guys, just in case you're doubting how cold it is, Sarah's eyelashes are frozen and her hat's starting to freeze. We moved on to a small parquet, following reports of Bohemian waxwings, but the deep snow was a pain in the butt, coming up to the top of my boots, and poor Sarah is a little bit on the shorter side. We found a well-trodden path to make things a little bit easier, but the thing with Bohemian waxwings is they are super nomadic. They'll fly in, gorge on berries and leave just as quickly, so we decided to try something else instead. Okay guys, our current mission is to try to find a snowy owl. Spring hasn't seen one so far this year, so we'd like to try to find her one. It's always a pleasure for us to see a snowy owl too. We've seen a couple so far this year. Can we add another one? Searching for snowy owls, white blobs against a white background, is challenging, but we did find a good environment for them on the outskirts of Ottawa. And basically, we just persisted and eventually just happened upon one right at the side of the road. A very rough shot because we were surprised to find it right next to us.
Oh, there he goes.
She landed further back in the field, and so we moved on. Although we did actually see another one in another nearby field a few minutes later. They're definitely more abundant this winter than last winter. This is our 4th snowy owl this year. Time for one more stop on this trip. Okay guys, welcome to a terrifyingly cold Mare Blue bog. There have been reports of evening grosbeaks here. We're staking out a feeder area and hoping that they might come in to land for us. We mostly staked out a feeder area from the warmth of the truck, while the outside wind chill reached around minus 35 degrees centigrade. Using the vehicle as a hide allowed us some great views of the birds. Their feathery coats clearly do an excellent job of keeping them warm in these conditions. And the same for this guy too. Unfortunately, after about an hour we gave up. No evening grosbeaks arrived. We did get some really good views of the rather massive pileated woodpecker though. This bird worked away on this tree for pretty much the entire time that we were there. We pointed it out to a few passing young bird enthusiasts, and the woodpecker didn't seem to mind the presence of humans too much. Well guys, I hope you're not big fans of continuity. Clearly we're wearing different clothing and it's a bit warmer looking. We ran out of time to film, so we're filming this bit separately. It's the end of our Ottawa video, but I do want to quickly tell you about another bird that we saw. We saw a barred owl. A little bit reluctant to say exactly where this one is because it's already getting a lot of human attention. But yeah, barred owl. We've already seen one this year, but this is our first one in Ontario, so that's pretty cool. Nice looking bird. Okay guys, that does us for this video. Thank you for watching our return to Ottawa. Please hit that like button to help other people find the channel. Please also leave us a comment, and also Sarah,
If you haven't already, please subscribe, and after subscribing, if you select the bell, you'll get a notification of new videos.
we'll be back with you soon, probably in the GTA with a new video. Thanks for watching, happy birding, and we'll see you soon.
Bye!